来那个台北国际书展，然后今天是萨普科夫斯基先生的第3次的这个对谈，那也是今天这次最后一次的对谈。那大家应该都是来看他吧？是的话，可以就是大家欢呼或是拍手一下嘛。对，那真的很难得，因为他上次来是2016年的时候，也是7年前嘛。那如果有大家比较不熟他的东西、他的作品的话，我们大概就要介绍。因为今天不止他，除了他以外，还有另外一位很重要的几个创作人里面。那萨普科夫斯基大师呢，他有大家知道就猎魔士嘛，从1986年开始到2013年的总共有2本短篇小说、5本长篇小说和1本独立的前传小说。那包括还有后面大家都很清楚有很多的改编品、游戏啦、电影啦，以及没有电影。以及这些东西，那故事主要叙述呢，就是这个兽魔猎人，利维亚·杰洛特在大陆康吉的冒险故事。那长篇故事里面呢，还另外加入了杰洛特养女Siri奇丽的成长故事。那我们这边另外一位，也是创作界大师呢，是波兰的巴尔托什·史蒂波尔先生。他是最近 Netflix 的以及《电狱判客：边缘行止》的编剧和故事主创。那他同样也是黑马漫画 Dark Horse Comics 的猎魔士漫画 Witcher Fading Memories 猎魔士悲歌的编剧。那同样他也创造过自己一部很有名的自传式图像小说是 Come Back to Me Again。那他不止这样是说，他还有担任过电视节目、电影剧本和漫画编剧。那他也撰写过童书，所以他同样是非常非常多产的创作者。那我们今天就是要来听这2位作者呢，这2位创作界大师在对制作猎魔士的故事上的不同心境还有想法。那我们第一个问题想要问的是，萨普科夫斯基先生，就是猎魔士是波兰奇幻文学中的佼佼者，那也很成功的取得了广大国际上的知名度。那和国内外其他创作者交流时候呢，有没有碰过任何比较令人难忘的特别回忆？
Okay, The Witcher is one of the best works in fantasy literature in not only Poland but also around the world. Do you meet other authors or creative writers in Poland often? What do you talk about? Anything you find particularly amusing or impressive?
You know, in Poland are so many authors that I cannot even try to name all of them because there are hundreds. And practically all of them are good and deserving the acceptance of the readers. I cannot name anybody. In Latin there is a saying, nomina sunt odiosa. It means you should not name the names. And I have enough enemies.
所以不愧是老爷子，他就说呢，波兰呢，我们有很多很棒的作家，但是我知道他们都很值得，就是人家帮他宣传一下，有多一点名声。可是呢，就像拉丁文讲的呢，我们也不能够随便的指出我们的敌人。
那我下一个问题想要问的是史蒂波尔先生，那同样是一位多产的创作者呢，你如何看待猎魔士在波兰国内外带来的影响？
As a prolific writer yourself, how do you look at the phenomenon of success, influence due to The Witcher? I mean, as it's so popular in Poland and abroad.
Hi, hello. First of all, I would like to say that it's a huge privilege and honor to sit with Mr. Sapkowski here. It's because he's like this huge sandbox that created amazing world, and I'm like this little grain of sand in this sandbox. So it's really a huge honor. So thank you for being here with me. As for the question, I need to refresh my memory.
Yes. 首先呢，就是很荣幸可以来到这里，就是真的是借着这一次到台湾的机会。那其实他们2个很妙，他们本来是搭同班飞机来，可是还素不相识，是在这里才熟起来的。所以呢，对史蒂波尔来说呢，就是 Mr. Sapkowski 听起来就是他是创作了整个猎魔士这个巨大的世界的沙箱，而他只是里面的一粒沙，所以非常非常荣幸今天在一起。
As for the phenomenon, I'm really proud that The Witcher is Polish and that you can see it as like the the video game, the comic books, the TV show. I mean, it's amazing. Not all IPs or famous novels get there. It's amazing. I'm proud it's the IP from Poland, and I hope it will have more future to come.
那其实就是身为波兰人，身为波兰的创作者呢，可以看到猎魔士这样巨大的成功。它不只是说是小说，不只是文学，那还有像它也是拍成了这个电视剧集。那还有就是它也成为就是各式各样的改变。这么大巨大一个 IP， 它是来自波兰，其实我非常以你为傲。那我也希望未来它可以更加的成功，对我来说相当的自豪。
那下一个问题是给萨普科夫斯基先生。那在猎魔士长篇故事中呢，剧情核心显然逐渐从一开始短篇故事只有杰洛特之后，慢慢延伸到经历了个人成长旅程的 Siri 身上。那两个人的选择呢，也大幅影响了剧情的走向。那想请问的是，杰洛特和奇瑞两人之间的关系是在短篇故事中就已经策划好的吗
So the question is, in the saga of The Witcher, it seems that the focus has shifted from Geralt of Rivia to Ciri, who went through her journey of growth. The choices they make are decisive to the development of the story. So my question is, in the early days when they first showed up in the short stories, did you already lay out what might happen in the future for these two characters?
Well, there is a big, like we say, huge difference between a short story and a novel, and especially something which is characteristic to the fantasy genre. It is the saga, it is the many series, 5, 6, even more, counting the sequels and prequels. So I was the first to try in Poland such thing, because maybe you will not believe it right now, but the beginning were quite difficult. So nobody wanted Polish authors with the novels. With the short stories, they said, okay, you can publish a story in a magazine devoted to science fiction and fantasy. Luckily, we had one called Fantastic. But normal publishing houses, when they heard they should publish Polish authors, they said, no, we'll take Americans, because Americans sell good, we'll make money. And with Polish authors, we will lose. And I was the first who was, let's say, the trailblazer. You know what the trailblazer is? It's a guy walking in front of the expedition with a machete and cutting the jungle to make a pass. Yes, it's called the trailblazer. I was a trailblazer in Polish families. And, you know, the evolution from short stories, which are condensed, very condensed, into a saga, fantasy saga, of course, it required a change in the approach, because it's quite technical. You must have many protagonists. You have to find a way for every of them. You must push the plot forward, and you must end it very well, so the readers will be satisfied. So the shifting between the protagonists from Geralt to Ciri, which is, I suppose it's not true, but anyway, it was required by the plot, because the plot was conceived before, and then all the protagonists, all the accidents were serving the plot, pushing the action to the end. Technically, it's easy. It's easy. Please do it in a free time.
简单的来说呢，针对刚刚的问题，他觉得我们并不是特别就是让他们的关系有转移， 所以就是两个人 Gerald 跟这个 Siri 的关系，并不是什么转移，而是只是剧情自然而然的他们有这样子的变化。那前面呢，他也铺陈了，也说得很清楚，其实就是他早期，当他最早就是投稿 Fantastica 这个杂志的时候，在那个时期呢，波兰的这个奇幻作家不太被当地的市场接受，因为那时候波兰文学，大家觉得出版社都觉得说啊，奇幻文学，那我们买美国作家的就好了，那不太给当地作家机会，所以那时候他是从短篇的开始写。那当然，慢慢的有了机会，他也想要就是替波兰写下，比如说奇幻文学3部曲、5部曲，就是大部头比较完整的著作的时候，其实以文类来说，从短篇小说转为比较长篇的完整的小说，其实在写作的方法上是完全不一样的。所以对他来说，不是只有说剧情就变了，不是，而是说其实他写作的方法也整个改变。那至于说大家会觉得说这些角色之间的化学反应或者他们之间的变化，其实是当它变成长篇小说的时候，本来就会比较多人，你要让这些人有更好的互动，让读者觉得合理，让一个小说里面你会觉得完整，而不只是这2-3个人从以前到现在都没有变化吗？不是这样子的。所以呢，他觉得就是在交代了前面，就是从他最早开始写短篇，到后来写完长篇的时候，其实他也经历了作为作家这样子的变化，那带出来这些剧情的走向。那对他来说，刚刚强调一个很重要一点是，剧情呢其实是引导这些主人翁他们变化的一切，等于说他是先想好了说怎么样让他们走，这故事怎么样做才合理的时候，那其他人就是所有这些人物，他们才会有比如说有生死的互动。
下一个问题是给史蒂博先生的。那在描述猎魔士世界观的时候，你有哪些特别想要探索的部分呢？
So the next question is to you. So as you depict the worldview of The Witcher, what attracted you the most? Were there any parts that you particularly enjoyed exploring?
Yes, when I got the offer to adapt The Witcher to comic books, I was afraid because it's such a huge thing, and I think for more than a year I was rereading the short stories in the saga to learn what's the essence of The Witcher. Because I remember that like earlier comic books, the ones that were made before I came as a scriptwriter, they were about monster hunting. And of course, it's a really important thing in the Witcher world, but it's not the most important thing. I think it's a gimmick, of course, a very cool gimmick and an important one, but still a gimmick. I think the strength of the Witcher is somewhere else. So I was reading the short stories and the saga like for a year, like really for a year, and we're trying to analyze what makes the Witcher The Witcher.
其实当初接到这个要改编，可以改编成漫画书的这个任务的时候呢，其实萨斯伯他也是觉得诚惶诚恐，所以就是他花了整整1年的时间，把所有前面的短篇小说，还有后面的这个长篇的著作重新读了一遍。那当然说，其实猎魔士就是如其名猎魔，但是他觉得说，其实这一部小说这整个世界不是只有打怪物而已，不是只有抓怪，所以他其实就是先花了就是整整1年的时间，甚至更多投入，就是重新去浏览这些文本，希望从中萃取出就是猎捕魔物或者打怪之外呢，是不是还有更重要的东西？尤其我们也都知道，猎魔士它不只是打怪物，它其实让它这个世界这么完整，不是只有怪物而已。
And after the year of analyzing The Witcher, I learned that I don't know what's the essence, but the thing I learned is that I learned what resonates the most with me, and these are like 2 things. First one is the ambiguity. Like it's not the story about good or bad, and I think that's something like again, Mr. Sapkowski was a trailblazer even in this thing, because like very often fantasy novels like before the 80s were like black and white. And what he did, he created the shades of gray, and for me that was always important, because people in The Witcher are not making good or bad choices. They're making choices that are maybe good for them, but they can be bad for someone else. So that's something that was really close to my heart. The other thing was postmodern approach to like the fantasy genre. That's why I really like Quentin Tarantino, and I think that Mr. Sapkowski is like Quentin Tarantino of fantasy novels, because he took some fantasy ideas from many fantasy writers and rewrote them in a funny or intelligent way, or he took fairy tales and rewrote them. That's the approach that's also really like I really like this approach. That's why I think I love postmodern movies, postmodern comic books, and I think The Witcher is a very postmodern piece of fantasy.
那分两个部分回答，其实他刚刚就很好玩，有趣的转折。他说：“分析了1年呢，读了1年之后，还是觉得不知道怎么办才好，还没有找到答案。那但是他就回去想，其实把文本重新看了这么多遍之后啊，他觉得最有共鸣的，他就去想说我哪里最有感觉，我有共鸣的在哪里。那最有共鸣的第一个其实有2个，第一个其实是就是里面这些不管是怪物，所有出场人物其实是有人性的。”因为在过去的这个奇幻文学里面呢，其实常常都是善恶二元，好像是非黑即白。但是在萨普科夫斯基先生里面，他的书里面，不是他本人里面，他的书里面呢，其实是有很多灰色的地带，所以有点像是你做了一个好的选择，那这个好的选择对你来说是好，但是对其他人来说可能不好，所以它不是一个绝对说好，那就是100%，坏就是0。不是，它可能是一个取舍，或者是一个平衡，所以对他来说，这是一个很有趣的地方。他也觉得这是非常特别的感觉，他很能够就是想要在改编的时候想要继续钻研的。那另外一个是整个文体呢，会觉得是其实奇幻文学很多人写了，前面也有很多，就是在萨普科夫斯基先生之前也有很多大师了。可是到他感觉他是把所有这些元素跟线索，就是等于是集大成，重新去写这一个很后现代的。一个奇幻文学，那后现代比如说昆汀塔伦提诺，那有时候同样的题材，可是你用不同的方法来拍的时候，拍一部电影会有完全不同的感觉。他讲的是同样的事情，所以呢，刚刚也是就是有说了，其实它就像是奇幻文学的昆汀塔伦提诺，是非常后现代的感觉，所以这也是一个非常吸引他，让他在改编的时候特别顺利，或者说他特别有共鸣的地方。
下一个问题问那个萨普科夫斯基先生。那在《火之七》里 （Baptism of Fire） 里面呢，吸血鬼雷吉斯 （Radius） 加入了寻找奇力的团队，他也是我个人在故事中最喜欢的角色之一。那这个身为怪物，但是却保有浓厚人性的角色，他的创作灵感是来自哪里呢？那还有没有机会在日后的作品中再看到他出现呢？
Yeah, I can tell you. Yeah, I'm translating. Actually, the next question, yes, because we have foreign friends here, I have to use the microphone. One of our moderator's favorite character is actually Regis, who joined the company to find Siri in Baptism of Fire. That's his favorite character, the vampire Regis. So,
I know also.
No. What was your inspiration? Because that was really interesting character. Is it possible that we see him like showing up in other story again?
No, the story has an end. I don't know if you've noticed, but the story ended. It cannot be rewritten in any way. So, of course, well, the vampire served the plot as every person, every protagonist in my book served the plot. There's nothing about depicting the personal or person or a hero in my novels to serve the person. No, the other way around, serving the plot. The plot, in some moment when I was writing it, the plot required a vampire. Required. So I created fire. If the plot will, let's say, require a dragon, I would write about the dragon. But for me, the vampire was the one and only way to push the plot forward. The one and only. So I used it just like this. It's just a creation, nothing more It's not something that you must pray to or like it or dislike it. So it's just a creation, nothing more. Paper. It's paper.
好的，回答这个问题哦，其实对小说家来说，他觉得其实最重要的就是剧情，它的 plot， 它剧情的走向。那一切就是人物的安排、人物的变化、他们的生死都是剧情决定的。所以当初会有吸血鬼出现，是因为他觉得剧情走到这里，好需要来一只吸血鬼，他就写了一只吸血鬼。那可能过一会儿，或者发生什么事之后，他觉得不行了，他不需要再出场，就发便当。所以呢，其实我们虽然大家都会有自己喜欢的或不喜欢的角色，可是就小说就作家来说，他觉得时间到了，剧情到了，那就是停在那里了，我们不会重写了，即便大家喜欢或不喜欢都一样。
好，下一个问题给史蒂博先生。那猎魔士题材呢，不同于漫威与 DC 的超级英雄故事，那阴森诡谲的氛围呢，也较为类似Mike Mignola 的《地狱怪客 Hellboy》，也经历过不同版本的改编。那这对创作漫画版本时是否带来任何压力
？Yeah, personally, I think the Witcher saga differs from other superhero franchise from Marvel or DC in the way that the setting is dark and mysterious, resembling more of the Hellboy by Mike Mignola. So when you were creating the comic book for The Witcher, did you feel any pressure? How did you feel? How, in the process, could you share with us your experiences?
I still feel pressure, and I had nightmares for like 2 or 3 years until the book came out. Like my first The Witcher comic book, The Witcher Fading Memories. I was afraid that all of Mr. Andrzej Sapkowski's fans will kill me or will hate me forever. That I destroyed something that they really liked. But fortunately, they all liked what I wrote. I mean, because first it was published in the United States, like the Witcher Fading Memories. And I remember that I was waiting for the first review, like, I don't know, for 2 or 3 weeks, like really being stressed. And then the review came and it was a really good review. And then next reviews like started coming and they were good. But then there was this, like after 3 or 4 months, the book was published in Poland, and that was another test because Polish fans are crazy. So like they could really hurt me. So, but they didn't, and they also like few really nice, not only comic book critics but book critics that know a lot about the Witcher franchise. They know a lot about fantasy novels. They said that this is good, that it's against the soul of original short stories. That was like a dream come true.
那他们就开玩笑说啊，其实他完成这个改编作品之后啊，他还是有2、3年的时间都会做噩梦，很怕这个就是东西写不好会被粉丝追杀，怎么办？就是因为也知道说我们这个大师就是他作品这么样成功，粉丝全球都有，而且各式各样的媒体改编，所以其实真的是辗转难眠，到现在还是会很紧张呢。那所以他那时候一开始呢，就是第一版呢，就是刚就是他的漫画完成的时候是首先在美国就是出版。那时候就很紧张，就是等了2、3个礼拜，就想说，刚出版之后，那我第一篇书评会是怎么样？非常紧张。还好在美国反应蛮好的，所以他觉得那就安了一颗心。那不过呢，接下来又过了3、4个月，是到波兰，就是第2波是在波兰出版。可是呢，波兰国民就完全这个同胞完全没有在理会他，就是给他疯狂的，就是给他可能一些恶评，他觉得还好我没有受到伤害。那但是。还好，后来至今就是慢慢的就是有很多书评，其实这些书评也都是读过这个猎魔士，就是不同版本，那也都是忠诚的粉丝，都给他蛮好的评价，所以至今他是觉得还蛮好的。
As for the DC Marvel thing, I agree that The Witcher is very different, and again it's different because of this ambiguity. In DC or Marvel, like it's changing right now, but before. Like you had villains that they didn't have motivation. They were just villains that wanted to destroy the world. Why? Because. And in The Witcher, it's different. Like every character has motivation, and you can even root for the villain. someone is bad, but you understand why he or she is bad. It's like in my favorite short story. I'm trying to remember the English title now. Lesser Evil. Everyone is good there. Like everyone like made choices, and now they are facing the consequences. And I think that's the biggest difference of The Witcher, like in comparison to DC or Marvel.
那另外呢，刚刚那个问题里面也有提到，像是在 DC 跟 Marvel， 因为猎魔士的世界好像是比较晦暗一点。那但是其实我们刚刚史蒂博尔他就回答说，在猎魔士世界里面，不管是怪物或者说是我们的主角、女主角，其实每个人他们做什么事情都是有他的动机。在 DC 或者 Marvel， 也许其他的奇幻文学里面，他们的这些怪物的动机不是很明显的，他们就只是我要来毁灭世界，来摧毁这个世界。他为什么要这么做？他没有交代清楚。但是在猎魔士的世界里面，不管是好的坏的角色，他都有自己的想法，他做这些事情背后有他的理由，所以这也是就是史蒂博尔非常喜欢的一点。那另外呢，甚至说，我相信各位读者也是，就是自己会有最喜欢的人物，他不见得是最好的或者最正面的那一个，因为他每一个人物，不管是人或者是怪物，其实都是有他自己的理由。那他自己最喜欢的是《勿以恶小》的 Lesser Evil 这一部，所以这里面呢，就是也一样，就是传达了，就是不管你是什么样，就是其实看一件事情、一个人物，他是有很多面向，他有他的原因，他有他的动机。
下一个问题给 Sapkowski 先生，那刚刚他提到就是要服务剧情的前提 ，serve the plot。那他会不会想用猎魔士世界观中的其他角色去发展出其他的故事，其他也会有独特剧情的故事呢？
We know that you mentioned that we have to serve the plot. I mean, upon creating or making decisions for the roles, we serve the plot. However, have you ever just, or maybe just once, thought about we can use the maybe currently lesser known role, that later we can develop new stories, or actually you see different layer of an old character that you might elaborate in the future? Have you thought about?
No, never.
没有，我已经很委婉了，转很多弯了，没有。
The plot is straight, just going from the beginning to the end, and there's no possibilities for me to make some ways, for example, to make later prequels or make later sequels or make sidequels. Of course you can make it, but nothing in the integral novel must be done like this, with the open doors somewhere. No, all doors must be closed. And you finish the book with all the doors closed and all the, let's say, these rifles that are hanging on the wall, they must be shot. Then that is okay. Technically, okay.
好的，他在讲说不行，就是我们的剧情呢，它发展到哪里，我们就走到哪里。所有的门，就是当初你可能创造这些角色，你开的后门，通通要关起来，不能够把任何的后门还打开。到时候你还想要穿梭写个前传、后传，或者说是旁边的什么三部曲、几部曲、小不行，通通不行。剧情走到哪里了，我们完结的就是完结的，角色到这里不见了就是不见了，不行。
所以大家知道他对游戏有观感，所以大家问问题的时候就不要再。好 ，Anyway， 那接下来问题呢，就是要问Sapkowski 先生还有 Steve 先生。那在猎魔士中呢，自己对哪个或哪些人物最有共鸣呢
No, the next question is not asking about the ugly daughters. No. But just is there any role that you relate to a little bit more than others? No. Okay. In the characters, everyone in The Witcher, we know these are all beautiful daughters of yours. Yes. But is there anyone that you relate to more? That you think, okay, they resemble you more? I mean, like father and daughter, you have DNAs, you pass down inheritance. Yeah. We are not asking you to say
Not
which
necessarily your preference.
Sorry. All the characters are creations. They are just creations serving the plot. So what do you expect me to kneel before my characters and pray to them? They are not real. They are created by me. They are created and created with the service. They should serve something, which is the plot. Plot is the queen.
Thank you.
So liking or disliking has nothing to do with it. It's not the technique to make a novel. You are not liking your protagonists or heroes, or you are not kneeling before them, or you are disliking them, or trying to make them similar to your stupid director in your work on your former wife. No, it's not the way to do it.
所以这个问题其实我也翻了大概3次。那他的回答一样的超然。其实作为小说家呢，他刚刚讲的一样，就是我们要就是跟着剧情走，剧情像是一群武士当中的皇后，就是所有这些角色呢，其实都是福音这个剧情的命令，剧情要往哪里走，大家就往哪里去吧。那你也不能说把我讨厌的人，我的前妻，我以前不喜欢的男女朋友，把他们弄成一个怪物角色吗？也不行。那所有这些角色其实都是作家创造出来的，所以他是非常公平的、非常超然的去对待他这些角色。那喜欢或不喜欢，这是读者的事情。但是对作家来说呢，他能够做的就是给大家最好的剧情、最好的安排。
那还有想要问史蒂普先生的那个，自己对哪一个人物、哪个角色最有共鸣的，在猎魔士？
It's like I'm happy that I heard what Mr. Andrzej Sapkowski said, because I am totally different. I mean, I fell in love with my characters all the time, but it's hard. I mean, it's hard then to kill them, and maybe that's why you are not falling. You shouldn't fall in love with them. To be able, like Mr. Sapkowski or Mr. George Martin, to like kill all of them and don't give a damn about it. So, but I'm unfortunately I'm falling in love with my characters, and I love Geralt. I think he's one of the best characters ever in the whole pop culture. Yeah.
好的，他最喜欢的角色是这个猎魔士，就是杰洛特本人。那他也解释，他作为一个创作家，他自己在创作角色的时候，他没办法，他对每个角色都很有爱。那他就想说，那也许就是必须要像这个萨普托斯基先生这样子，能够对角色保持一个超然无私，才有办法后来杀死他。发便当不会发的手软，跟那个 George Martin 一样，你如果要让他们死的时候，你不能太有爱，太有爱会杀不下去。所以呢，对他个人觉得最喜欢的角色，猎魔士里面角色是这个杰洛特。然后呢，他真的是流行文化当中最棒的一个角色。
下一个问题要问 Stable 先生。那同样作为猎魔士的粉丝呢，对该系列的未来有什么期待呢
So also as a fan of The Witcher, what is your expectation to the future of the Witcher saga?
I don't know. All doors are closed, so.
门都关起来了，要期待什么呢？
But I think it's an amazing world. I think it has a huge potential, and if people with understanding of novels, of short stories, people that are emotional and know how to write will be able to do something about this franchise. Then I think it can give us a lot of new, beautiful stories for years.
那我觉得个人是虽然门都关起来了，但是他觉得猎魔士在未来呢还是会有很多潜力的，包括说我们也看到很多读者其实自己也变成了作家，他可以带来很多不同层次的启发，比如说让我们对于短篇小说、对于小说、对于如何写好一个故事、对于如何设定这些角色有更好的理解，如何怀抱着感情，或者有时候是超然的去完成一个故事。也许未来的读者就是受到启发之后，也许未来会有更美好的故事出现，也不一定。
And I would love that Mr. Sapkowski could write another short, even one short story in the future. That would be my dream.
最后呢，就是很谦卑的说，如果可以再来一点短篇小说，再1天就好了，就是我梦想成真了。
I'm old and lazy.
我 又来又懒惰。
好，那再一个问题给 Mr. Sapolsky。那猎魔士于1991年左右出版，那现在过了30多年后，你自己如何看待这个系列呢？它会不会对你在创作其他的作品上，当然带来任何帮助或是限制呢？
This is actually the last question. The Witcher was first published in 1990, and it's been 30 years. How do you look at it now, after 3 decades? And how does it help, or does it restrict your other creative works?
The Witcher, the first, was published in 1986, I suppose. That's a quite long time ago. I really don't remember. It's something misty, very, very, very far away. So it was quite a way, and the steps were not so easy to step on them. So the way was steep from the bottom to the top. Ascere per aspera ad astra, it means in Latin, through the thorns to the stars. So I see the end of the way already, but I have something in my back pocket, you know. So maybe there will be another book about The Witcher, maybe. But right now I prefer not to disclose the secret. But the possibility exists. Let's say like this. No promises, no money in advance. But it's possible. Because you know, the Polish Ministry of Culture is not paying my rent. So I must do something by myself.
好的，其实呢，我们最早的作品呢，就是《猎魔士》最早出现了，是1986年了。可能那时候最早在投稿的时候，作为这个杂志或者说是专栏，最早出现1986。那这样一路走来呢，也是就是创业维艰吗？就是一步一步，但相信往上爬之后，这每一步也都是走得很辛苦，走得很踏实。那刚刚讲一句拉丁文呢，他是讲说，其实也是我们就看到远方的星星，就是我们还是可以瞭望远方，有一个开阔的视野，我们也不去把话说死，我们还是有一个开放的回答。那当然，他说我们把后门关起来了，但是我还有后口袋。就是我还是东西可以掏得出来，后门没有开，但是有口袋，所以呢，我也不想说死说哦，我从此不写不会，也许还是会再出猎魔士的作品，也不一定，但是还先不用付版权税，我是说出版社还先不用急，只是他也知道，在波兰呢，文化部长也没有帮他付房租，他还是要自己就是张罗自己的生活，所以他是会继续努力的作为作家，谢谢。
好，那像我们今晚2位大师的各种感想之后呢，在场有没有人想要问他们问题呢？
不好意思，我把问题写在手机上。我有2个问题想分别请教大师跟史蒂夫先生。第一个问题想针对大师的部分是，我想请问，大师在创造叶宁福这个角色的时候，灵感是来自于现实生活，还是凭空想象？
我先在这边翻给他好吗？让他分享。So we have 2 questions. First question is to you. When you were creating Yennefer, the role, the inspiration came from reality, or it is something like created out of your mind? What do you think? Is your inspiration for Yennefer? Okay, now we go to the next question.
其实还是同样的问题，我还没讲完。不好意思，就是例如他的个性跟嗜好方面，像是lilac and gooseberries， 丁香跟峨眉这些东西，难道只是为了说目的？我们知道他刚刚讲的是 serve the plot， 那我想问的是，这些灵感是从何而来？还有例如像是独角马这些设定。
So actually there are lots of details. like for the things she wears, the magic she plays, and everything. So the details, like there are different layers. It's a sophisticated setup of a character. So how did you get the inspiration? So how did you complete the setup for a role like Jennifer?
Second question first. I'm talented. You know.
我很厉害啊，有什么好说的吗？
The first question, it's no real person. It's just an invention. Like I said before, it is in creation, invention, invented to serve the plot. The plot must go on. And it came a moment when the plot required something with chercher la femme, yes? Looking for the woman. Must be. So the plot required a female personage, a female hero or protagonist. I created it just to push the plot forward. I created it, I will not be too modest, very good. So please do not compete with me because it's impossible.
Thank you. 那第二个问题想，
我这边翻译一下好吗？好，对，所以基本上呢，这边就不用太客气了。基本上他刚刚就讲了，因为我是天才，所以呢，我创造这样的角色，我就是把它凭空想出来，它并不是反映任何真实。所以你说他的比如说在《Sherlock Holmes》这边呢，剧情走到这里需要有一个女性角色出来的时候，我就把它做出来的。就像刚刚讲的，就是服务我们的剧情。好，
第二个问题想针对史蒂伯先生，就是其实。Sapkowski 有一个访谈，他有提到改编创作者有权利自主创作，在创作自由上有不被限制的权利。那他们的想法可以跟我不一样，即使想法与我不同又如何？他的重点是，那书并非圣经。那我想说，从粉丝的角度来看 ，Sapkowski 所创造的奇幻世界对粉丝来说它是具有某种神圣地位的。那他的书对于粉丝而言，不好意思，他书对粉丝而言是具有某种神圣地位。那他的书对我们而言的重要性，或许就等同于圣经。那我想对蒂博先生的问题是，他身为猎魔士漫画故事的创作者，是否在创新新故事的时候会遇到跟改编一样的问题？那他要如何面对这些比如说创造上的问题或是挣扎？他会选择平衡吗？还是说他会跟粉丝妥协，或是向原作妥协？这样是我问题，谢谢。
I'll briefly translate the question. It's like because we know that in one of Mr. Sapkowski's interview, he said that if you are to adapt my story in The Witcher, he thinks for example, the comic writer or other novel writer can have autonomy, can be independently create new stories. In their own way. However, for the fans of The Witcher, it's like a Bible to them. So, then the question is to Mrs. Stitzborn. So, when you were creating your comic book, your work, did you encounter any challenges that you feel, okay, maybe I need to compromise, I need to reconcile with the Tracy love of the fans, or were there any challenges, or how did you feel? Were there any challenges that you need to overcome?
As I said before, there was a lot of doubts and fears, but I thought that I don't want to make any compromises. I felt that I know for me what The Witcher is about, and I wanted to create that kind of stories. As for the Bible element, I agree that with the saga, everything, like all the doors are closed, but we can go back. The comic books I'm writing are during the time of short stories. That's why I think there was a time when Geralt could be anywhere doing everything. So I think that's the safe time for all the adapters to create something that they can have freedom with creation. There was, like I said before, there was a lot of struggles, mostly to know what The Witcher is about. The funny stuff is because you asked about Yennefer, is that I wrote right now 5 comic books, like The Witcher comic books. 2 were already published. 3rd is published right now, and 2 will be published next year. And there is no Yennefer in these comic books because it took me 1.5 years to understand Geralt, and then I need to spend another year to understand Geralt and Yennefer. So right now only Geralt and sometimes Jaskier, because they both I do understand.
好，那就像他之前回答到的，就是在改编或者说重新创作的过程当中，也是经历过很多辗转难眠，有很多的这个挣扎跟这个犹豫，或者说是犹疑。但是他觉得他不能跟粉丝妥协，是这样，因为对他们来说，其实他在创作过程，就像刚刚讲，他花了1年半的时间，他其实重新去认识、去理解，就是猎魔士对他来说的意义，对他来说最能共鸣之处。那其实，即便说现在所有的后门都关起来了，但是我们还是可以回去，就是回到可能比较早期的故事，例如在短篇小说的时期，那个时候的杰洛特是比较自由的，那个时候他能够做的事情仿佛比较多，所以也许对改编者或者说你要重新创作的话，短篇小说时期那一段时间的杰洛特，他的关系、他的世界，就是你比较可以去找到一些就是枝节，新的枝节可以去发挥。那他就说现在应该是卖个关，他刚刚有点犹豫，我觉得他应该是不想要就是剧透。他现在呢，其实已经画了5本的，就是做了5本的这个猎魔士改编的漫画。那5本的话，其实现在就出到第3本，那大概还有2本就是即将出版。他就很小心的说，里面没有 Yennefer， 没有。因为他也是说花了这么多时间，就是理解了杰洛特，他想要好好就是来发展，就是先把杰洛特的故事，让他好好的在这个新的文类当中去发挥、去探险。
好，我们看有没有下一位。那大家问问题的话，可以就问1个问题就好，因为我们时间是有点限制的 ，OK 吗？刚刚要。
谢谢。那我想要问那个萨普科夫斯基先生问题。我想要问的问题是，刚刚在访谈的过程中，我知道在猎魔士从短篇小说出发，那到长篇小说的这个过程中经历了很大的变化。那我很好奇，就是说，在这个变化之中，萨普科夫斯基先生有没有觉得，什么是挑战性最大的？我的问题大概就是这样。
The question is, in The Witcher to Mr. Sapkowski, when The Witcher developed from, or actually you changed the way of writing from short stories to longer version into novel, what were the challenges or maybe some of the more difficult parts for you? We know you are talented, super talented, but were there any part that you encountered, that you struggle, that you feel, okay, this is a bit challenging?
Challenging. Everything was challenging. From the first sentence to the last sentence, every one of them was a challenge. Every one of them. Because, as I said that yesterday, so maybe it is compared to sculpting. If you want to sculpture Greek goddess naked, so you take a piece of stone and chip everything which is not the goddess. So it's the same way with the writing. You use a lot of words and you just eliminate the bad ones, the not correct ones. You leave only the correct ones. The short story and the novel, difference is like the line and the plane. The short story is line. You start and you follow the line till the end. It must be very clearly made. The novel or the patterns, the series, the saga, while discipline, it requires more. You must do some many characters, many turns of action. A lot of on this plane, everything can happen. You can ride the horse all around. this display. So, and the challenge remains the same. Every sentence must be right, must be written rightfully, and serve the plot. Once again, serve the plot. Plot is the queen. In the short story and in the novel. And challenge, every sentence is a challenge.
好的，如果问到挑战的话，其实每一句啊，这个字字血泪啦，意思是说每一句就是一本书从第一句到最后一句，每个字其实都是挑战。你要把它写好，就是确保它每一句这个剧情的连贯、角色的发展都符合剧情所需要，这其实都是很大的挑战。然后又讲到说，他其实这几天也都讲过另外一个故事，比如说像是在雕刻，你可能有人会问说，那你怎么样雕出那个很漂亮的大卫像，就是一个裸体？怎么知道当年希腊的这个男子就是长那么样健壮，肌肉的位置？可是雕刻师可能会说，我就是拿一块大理石来把不需要的地方都凿掉而已。所以其实写作也是一样，如果说真的要问挑战的话，以他来说，字你还是要全部写出来，你就是去无存菁，把好的留下来。那每一个阶段、每一个句子，你每一次去留都是挑战。那至于说它比喻短篇跟长篇呢？短篇小说像是直线，你可能就是有起点，然后你直走到了终点，因为篇幅有限。可是如果是长篇完整的小说，那可能就是一架满载客人的飞机。那飞机里面客人形形色色，角色形形色色，他们可能在这一趟旅途中发生什么事情不一定，很难讲。所以呢，其实像这样的比喻，就是对他来说，其实无论是短篇还是长篇，是画一条线，还是说他要开一架飞机载这么多人一起航向终点，都是很多挑战。然后呢，都是要跟着剧情走，剧情为王。
还有哪位有问题吗？感兴趣。
你好，想要请问两位大师，就是发现在阅读中，就是在一些东欧或是比较俄罗斯的文学里面，就是他们的故事常常会有一些特别的语义，就像安杰萨普夫斯基先生他的那个短篇小说里面特别明显。那我想请问两位作家，说是这些特别可能类似像教训或是一个故事的核心是因为在其他国家文学里面是比较少见的。那不知道是因为他们的可能像一些历史的传承或是一些文风之类造成这样的影响，还是说他们觉得说需要有一个教训，或是怎样让读者可以从中学习到一些东西？
您说的是短篇小说吗？
主要是在短篇，因为长篇里面比较没有那么明显。
So the question is to both of you. Maybe you have different perspective as a fan or as a writer. So we know that in your short story collections, it seems like each short story there's a lesson to be learned, like a fable. It's like, for example, you can see the title. Usually, okay, these are the keywords for this story. For readers, because in Asia we read, not us, but for readers or maybe other cultures, not every fable, not every story has a lesson learned. Do you think it's because you are in Poland, so you're more influenced by, for example, Russian or maybe Eastern European mythology, or because of your history? What do you think?
Well, I tried not to be limited to anything. Of course, it proved a vain effort, because it is impossible to satisfy everyone in this aspect. So I cannot deny my origin. I'm Polish, I am Slavic, I'm from this part of Europe, not the other part of Europe. So from very young age, I was a creation of the culture that surrounded me in my education, in my home, in everything. This influence was and it remained till the moment right now. But if I missed something, so I understand question like this that my effort to do it right was in vain in Asia. Yes, or I missed something. Sorry, I cannot. I couldn't have done it better. So I've done my top.
No. We didn't say it did not meet expectation in Asia. Is my bad. It's just there's always a lesson learned in each of a collection. I mean, for some reader, okay, I'll translate first. But your work is perfect. No worries.
Now, in the discussions with my translator, my Chinese translator in Taiwan, for example, we found out that me using some simple language without any decorative elements, it's not right in Chinese, because in Chinese it's not natural. So as the lady, my translator, said, it's the natural is floral. So the language with all the decorative elements is a high language, and the simple language is unnatural for Chinese. So maybe.
好，那先回答这个部分，那就是其实他就说呢，当然作为波兰人，就是他也不可能去否认或者说是去抗拒他的出身，他就是从小在波兰的文化当中长大，浸泡在这里。那可能从他的家庭、他的教育，到处都是波兰文化的底蕴，他也不需要去否认或者去拔除这些影响。其实至今就是到他的年纪，他也是一样浸泡在波兰文化里头。